This series of videos is going to demonstrate how to draw a building in two-point perspective. And so this first video, I'm just going to tell you like what you need to do this. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to pick out an image that you're excited about to draw for this assignment. So it should be a piece of architecture. I would look for something where you can see the corner of the building, okay, and then two of sides of it. That's going to help you that's really going to be the only way that you'll be able to do it in two-point perspective, because basically you need to have the corner, which is closest to the camera, and then two sides that are receding back into space towards two different vanishing points. So you can go really simple like I have here, which is just a basic kind of house shape. There's a little house kind of on top of it. Or you can go with something more complicated if you would like. Basically, if you go with something more complicated, you still want it to be, have flat sides like this, have a corner closest to you. If it has other forms kind of popping off, like a porch or like an addition, that's totally fine. Just know that you'll end up applying the principles that I am applying in this demonstration to those pieces as well. And certainly if you get stuck, you can always check in with me in the classroom. So, other things that you're going to need when you find the building, and again, I would encourage you to pick out something that you're excited about. So maybe you go through some pictures that you've taken yourself. If you took pictures on vacation of some cool architecture, or maybe you want to find a photo online of a place you've always wanted to visit. Or you could certainly seek out like a certain type of architecture, or like a place that you think has interesting architecture. That would be totally fine. You want to make sure that you're not picking out a piece of architecture that is too complicated that won't work with two-point perspective. So an example would be like this Frank Gehry building. Super cool, but because he uses all these kind of warped pieces of steel to make his buildings, they don't recede into vanishing points, and they don't work kind of with perspective the way that something that has kind of more like flat kind of cubic form to it would. So please don't try to use something like this for the assignment. You will very quickly find out that it's not going to work. You could use something like a skyscraper, just if it is a really basic cube form. I would encourage you to maybe look for ways like maybe do like multiple buildings in a cityscape as opposed to just one. Okay. You're going to print your image out as a tiny little thumbnail. This is what we're going to use to find your vanishing points, and then you're going to print it out larger so that way you can see that all the detail in it when we get to drawing kind of more of the detail areas, and also when you do shading or any additional detail texture work that you're going to add. So you want two printouts, one tiny, probably like 2 to 3 inches in its longest dimension, and then one larger. To draw the vanishing points over the tiny image, I think it's helpful to have preferably a piece of acetate and a Sharpie marker. If you don't have acetate, something else that will work is tracing paper. If you don't have either of these, that's totally fine. You can just draw right over top of your image. Again, having this second image will make it easier for you to work with. If you do have to draw on the image, you'll always have this to look off of it as well. So that's totally fine. You will also need your sketchbook. If you don't feel like doing it in your sketchbook, that's fine. If you are doing it in your sketchbook, which is kind of what I suggest, the expectation is that you will end up having the smaller image up here to find the vanishing points, and then your sketch will end up down here, and your goal is to fill the page with the building. So to make that work, because the building would be filling the page, your vanishing points are going to be out here. And so you'll need some extra paper to kind of create some flags off to the edge to place your vanishing points. So just plain white paper can work, or simply just newsprint, something that you can easily kind of fold in to go inside of your sketchbook would be great. Other things that you're going to need are, you'll need tape to adhere your image, and then to adhere your acetate or tracing paper over top. You're going to need a pencil and an eraser. So I'm using an HB. I suggest that you use a 6H or a 2H and make sure that you keep your pressure light. It is a process where sometimes you make wrong lines and you need to erase them to make the right ones. So just make sure that you're not pressing hard and then an eraser, and I have a Sharpie marker to go over top of the acetate. Pencil is not going to work on this because it's like plastic. And then you will also need a ruler. So that's the supplies that you will need. So have fun searching for your photo.